Assalamu alaikum. All right, so if you're new here, my name is Shay. Welcome to the Brotherhood. And if you're a subscriber already, welcome back. So, subscribe if you haven't already, of course, and then leave anything down in the comments that you would like to talk about since we're a self improvement channel. And let's get right to it, right? So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about morning routines, okay? There's a very popular idea within the self-help community of morning routines, right? And I used to have a morning routine pretty much like for 2 years now, almost 2.5. I've recently stopped it, and that's the point of this video. Okay, why I think that although I think a morning routine can be helpful, why I think it also has its drawbacks, which is why I don't personally have one anymore. Instead of the morning routine, I have something called a health routine. Okay. Now I know that sounds like some cringy buzzword made by some self-help, uh, book or something like that. That just, it sounds fancy, funny. But here, let me explain what that all means, right? Okay. So basically, the idea is that let's go through a normal morning routine, right? What happens? So you wake up, maybe you have cold shower in your morning routine. So you make your bed, cold shower. For those of you that have a sophisticated morning routine, right? You brush your teeth, you do your skincare, you eat your breakfast, you name it, right? What I realized was happening to me when it came to my morning routine was I would do all of these little tasks, right? All of these little tasks like brushing my teeth, taking that cold shower, eating the breakfast, right? Things like that. I would do all of these activities, and then I would get to my main work that I needed to do for the day, and I wasn't able to do it. I was always very fidgety. My brain felt very, very scattered. And I'm going to run down why that's the case, okay? When you wake up in the morning, you are in the most calm state of mind possible. Okay? You're in the most calm state of mind possible. You haven't gotten that text yet, bothering you about something. You haven't had to go to class yet. You haven't eaten anything yet. You haven't gone through all the things that once you've been put through throughout the entire day, you get tired, right? You get tired very, very much, like mentally exhausted or maybe physically fatigued. So, oh wow. So you have to think, okay, that's what my morning routine looks like. And it's great, right? It seems very, very productive, but what ends up happening is you're not able to get to your main work all the time. You're not able to do the schoolwork, the studying that you wanted to do. You're not able to do any of the business work that you might have wanted to do. You're not able to do that hard task. Whatever that is for you, you're not able to do it. Now, right now, I want you to think about what that hard task is. Is it studying? Maybe for you, you're trying to do pre-med, so it's like trying to study for chem or trying to do homework for chem or something like that, right? Maybe you're trying to start some sort of business or side hustle, and doing the work for that is very, very challenging for you. Maybe you're doing YouTube like I am, right? It could be anything. It could be anything. Think about your hardest task. Think about the attempts that you've made at trying to do that task, but they haven't been very, very successful, right? Right? Think about it. Now, the routine I'm about to tell you, right, helped me get done, and this is probably stuff you'd have to pay for elsewhere, but this routine helped me get done about like a month or two worth of assignments, months worth or 2 months worth of assignments within 1 to 2 mornings. Okay. Now, of course, this is based on my discipline. My discipline is psych. So now immediately what comes to your mind is that limiting belief of, oh, he's a psych major, so this stuff is really, really easy for him. And the work for psych majors isn't even that hard. It's very, very easy, which to a degree it's true. I would agree with you. But again, you're not helping yourself by telling yourself that right now, because you've already restricted and put on that limiting belief that because it's easy for me, because my work's easier, because of the way I operate, I make it look easy. I don't know what other those may be, and you believe that you can't do it because you're in a certain discipline that I'm not in, then you've already lost, okay? So what I need you to do is listen to this carefully. When you wake up, Hamza's talked about this idea of eat the frog, right? But how I see it is like, when you wake up, you want to literally do your hardest task immediately after waking up. Now, I'm not talking like, okay, you get up off the bed and like you don't do your morning bathroom break and whatnot. And, you can grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something like that, and then sit down and just do your hardest task. Sit down. And I know I made that sound so casual. Just do your hardest task. But what you're doing when you're sitting down and doing your hardest task right in the morning, right, is you're getting that out of the way. Now imagine what it would be like to just get something that difficult out of the way. The rest of your day becomes easy, right? How would it feel knowing that instead of your day building up from easy, and then it gets harder as you go, right? How would it feel that it goes from hard and then it gets a little bit easier, gets a little bit easier, even easier, even easier, even easier. Oh, this is easy. Sick. It feel nice, right? Because you're done with the hard work initially. And in the morning, you have that. In the morning when you wake up, assuming you've slept well, you have that. Why? Couple of factors. One, it's the morning. There's not many people that can bother you unless, you constantly have texts coming in from one of your best friends or something like that, or maybe your GF. I don't know, bro. But put those on D&D. If it's your phone's going to be one of your biggest distractions. I've talked about this in one of my other videos. Turn it off. Put it on D&D. Better yet, turn it off. You're going to think you're going to get some sort of, but what if you get an emergency call? Let's be honest, how many times does that happen? And are you in any condition to even help if somebody calls you for an emergency, okay? If you can't turn it off, at least put it on D&D. And put it in your backpack. Don't put it out on your desk. Put it in your backpack. Or put it in a different room if that's possible for you, if you're at your dorm room. But if you're not at your dorm room, you're in a library, put it in your backpack, zip up that little, that section, and just keep the phone there. So that's one distraction. Gone. Get rid of it. Why do I drink tea and coffee? Well, caffeine, right? And I know a lot of people have argued against doing that. I think Hamza's recently argued against doing that as well. But like, you have to understand that's kind of how they got there to begin with. So I'm going to use it. Yeah, is it probably not the best for your health? Probably not, but it's a lot better than an energy drink. And I'd rather have that and enjoy something like that while I'm doing my work and be able to just lock in, right? So I'll have that. Okay, and I'll have it without milk too. It just depends. I'll have it without milk. If I'm feeling a bit foggier that morning, I'll have it without milk, just so the dairy is not slowing me down and whatnot. So that's where the coffee helps. That's where the tea helps. Something simple like instant coffee. And then all the little tasks that I talk about, you're not spending mental energy thinking about them. Like, for example, you don't think you're making a lot of decisions throughout your day, but when you are trying to pick the clothes that you're going to wear, right? For school. Maybe this is true more for ladies than it is for men, right? But anyhow, when you're trying to do that, when you're trying to brush your teeth, when you're trying to figure out what you're going to make for breakfast, all of these little decisions slowly add up and take away from the mental focus from the things that you need to put mental focus in, right? It's that Pareto principle, essentially. That 20% of the things you do give you 80% of the returns, but the 80% of the things you do give you 20% of the returns. So all those tasks that really don't matter like that, right? All those tasks that don't matter like that, those are the 80%, and you're getting 20% return from them. If you really want to think about it like an entrepreneur or something, right? And then all the 20% of tasks, which is the hard task that I talk about, the hard task, think about that. That's the 20% task right there. You're doing that, you're getting 80% of the returns. And that makes sense, right? You're spending valuable time doing something when you're at your most focused, and you're able to learn that at a higher efficiency. or you're able to do that task at a higher efficiency, right? People talk about this idea of, oh, look at me, I'm a pre-med and I've studied 8 hours. It's like, bro, cool. But let's be honest, at least 4 of those hours were spent just scrolling through either one of your social medias or being AFK, just not even doing anything, just looking off into the distance. 3 of those hours were spent walking around, doing something random, moving around, study locations. Let's be honest. It's not how long you study, it's the quality. It's the quality that matters, right? So when you wake up, that quality is going to be there. You get your hard task done initially. You're waking up in the morning with calm mind. And as long as you don't do all the 80% of stuff that'll give you the small amount of returns, like all the skincare first, all that first, all this first, all the breakfast eating, thinking about what clothes you're going to wear. As long as you don't do that, of course, you're going to have to do it if, like, that's what you have to do to get out of the house. Like, okay, I got to wear clothes. Okay, try to do that the night before. That's how you allow it to not take up mental space in the morning. You do it the night before. And you might think, oh, well, Shay, you're exaggerating this. It's not even that bad. It's like, bro, this builds up quick. You don't even realize it. I thought it was stupid to begin with too, but that's how it goes. Think about it. When you're making more and more and more decisions, that slowly adds up and it takes away from your ability to think. And that brings me to breakfast. I also don't think you should be eating breakfast. You should try fasting, okay? And I know this is going to be a little bit harder for y'all who are the people here who are bulking during the winter, right? But I encourage you to have your meals. I know it's going to be harder, but at a smaller window frame, right? So if you usually ate as soon as you wake up, try to find a time around lunch when you break your fast, breakfast, right? And because being a little bit hungry, I'm not going to lie, really helps. Now you might say, well, this is what I get hit with a lot. I get hit with this a lot. Oh, but yeah, I can't function without food. Okay, if that's the case for you, find a healthy balance of food that you can eat without getting lethargic. But me personally, I find that if I eat food, I get so fogged up in my mind that I cannot think. I cannot do any tasks or anything like that. So all I do is stick to either black coffee, tea, and water. That is it. I stick to that for a long period of time throughout my day. Like, as soon as I wake up, which on an ideal day would be 6 to 7 a.m., right? And I do that all the way to like 4, right? Because that's just the times in which I want to get all my tasks done. And then when I'm having all my meals within that small window and period of time, I'm also just playing YouTube videos to learn, things like that, responding to messages, doing all that stuff that, again, is 80% of the stuff that's going to give me 20% of the returns. That's what I'm busy spending that time on. So initially, you want to start off your day with that, again, hard task that gives you most of the returns. Do it like that. Format your day like that. And instead of a morning routine, what you'll have is a health routine. Now, you might say, okay, Shay, all the stuff that you do in your morning routine, when do you do it then? I do it, me personally, I like doing it like this. So the hardest task for me to do is, like, for example, my YouTube and things that I try to work on for my business or my school, right? So I'll alternate between those things within days and whatnot, within like every other day, stuff like that. And then what I'll do is I will, what is my schedule? Yeah. So at about like 1 or 2, I will go to the gym, because the gym is not a hard task for me anymore. If that's a hard task for you, you do that initially. You start off with that, right? If that's the hardest thing for you to do. But for me, it's work. So I start off with my work, and then I go to the gym, and then I do my something called health routine, which is basically the same thing as a morning routine, but you've convinced yourself that it has to be a morning routine so much that you feel like you can't live without it. You can't go without it. The truth is, you can go without it. Just do it in the middle of the day. Because for me, it's easier to do that. For me, it's easier to meditate in the middle of the day. It doesn't take that much willpower for me. For me, it's easier to go to the gym in the middle of the day. It doesn't take that much willpower for me. To do work, it takes a lot of willpower. So initially, what takes the most willpower, what I'm having the most resistance in my mind going against it, right? It's like the work that I've been putting off. So for example, YouTube videos, right? Stuff like that. So I've recently started this schedule, and it's really, really been helping me. and primarily why you're probably going to see a lot more videos. And so that's the hardest task for me. It gets easier by going to the gym, gets even easier now. I have my health routine, and then all I'm doing after that is eating and learning. Practically how my day goes. And then all the easy homeworks that I have, I'll just do them then as well. Doesn't take a lot of brain power for me, right? So again, try that at least. Try that if it's very hard for you to get work done, if you procrastinate, if you struggle with that, try doing that, right? Just imagine what it would be like to get your work done initially at the beginning of the day rather than having to do it closer to the night when you actually might want to hang out with friends, when you've eaten all that food and you cannot seem to think for the life of you. Try that and see how it helps you, okay? So instead of a morning routine, do a health routine. Take an hour out of your day to do all the skincare and all the eating some other time, or the gym, anything like that, or meditation. All of that, make it like a health routine. You don't have to restrict it to a morning or a nighttime routine or anything like that. Just do it at a part of the day which you feel is easiest. And if that is the hardest thing for you to do, maybe that is the thing you need to start off your day with. Maybe it is, okay? So it just depends on you. I'm giving you the tools to be able to set up your schedule here. But if you heard nothing else I said, all you want to do is start off with the hardest thing, and then your day slowly gets easier, not the other way around. You don't want it to be easy and then gets harder, because then you're always thinking about how you're going to have to do that hard task later, and it's going to zap a lot of mental energy. Your mood's going to be down because you're not looking forward to it. Think about the hard task first. Hard task, get it done, get it out the way, feel good about yourself. Boom. Get through the day. All right, so try that out. Let me know how that goes, and peace. Take it easy.